All right, class is in session. Okay, this is the Blaze Taylor defense opening statements in his trial. I believe he's guilty. This is just my, every, presumption of innocence will be, afforded him. So, if I have to eat crow at the end, he's acquitted, then, I will definitely walk my statements back. But just as I see it now, I think that the evidence is showing that he's going to go ahead and be convicted of this. And if he is convicted of it, I'll double down on that. So anyway, but just from what I've seen, I think, yeah, he's going to get cooked. And rightfully so, but these are just allegations against him. My personal opinion, if I see more in the trial, then we'll we can always change our minds. That's okay. You don't have to get fixed on a position. I'm not invested, but what's more important is I think that men, and again, I love women, and a lot of times women think that if I'm trying to help men, I'm trying to do something against women. That's not true. I think that women have a better kind of outlook, or don't know the one of the better terms, but basically just women understand the game of dating a little better, I think, because they do it more, and they don't see dating is not quote unquote as hard for them. They see it in abundance mindset. And women just definitely, because of access to men, they tend to have more experience in dating. So, especially young men, women can kick their butts in dating, and that's fine. This is not, we don't hate on nobody. You just have to understand the rules of the game so you can play the game. If you're playing a game like the World Cup's going on, I love soccer. If I don't tell you, hey, one team scores in that goal and one team scores in that goal, you won't be putting the ball into your goal and being like, hey, dude, we need the ball in the other goal. And that's kind of like what I like to do with these videos, is just kind of let men know what the rules of the game are that you're playing so that you can act accordingly. Because, when men don't know the rules of the game, then they can get manipulated by people that don't have their best interest at heart, right? And oftentimes that can be people you're dating. They don't have your interest at heart. They have their own agendas, right? But anyway, I think this is a good, just for people that don't know, like, short rundown, and try to make this short as possible. But he's on trial for he met this girl Jade Benning, I believe her last name is. Not important. The details aren't important, but the main story is he meets her on a dating app. They go out to dinner once, and they start banging. And this is how, and I want men to know, because this is why I'm doing the video and why I chose criminal cases to do this with, is it shows women's private side, which we don't often get to see. Women oftentimes try to run the narrative because they're very deft at keeping their private lives private, which I've said numerous times they should. And but at the same time, if we can get a peek into their private life when it comes into the public space, like in criminal trials, we can then get a look into how women operate and show evidences. This is how they operate. We're seeing the same things over and over and over again. We can have, for example, if we think that, okay, women have rotations, all right? Oh, we don't have rotations. We date one guy at a time. Well, oftentimes in these criminal trials, it is shown that women have rotations. They're working, they're dating several men at a time. They're talking to several men at a time. They get their text messages. They're texting several different men at a time. So, the sugar, spice, and everything nice, we often thought that, oh, women, only date one guy at a time, and they're celibate, or they're abstinent, or they're, all that stuff, right? So again, this is not to talk crap on anybody. It's just to give men, because I love men, pause, and I want men to do better. And I've made my mistakes because I know how painful mistakes can be. So, and if I would have had a better, mindset of the game, then I would have done a lot better. So I'm trying to help men so they don't have to make the same mistakes I did. And now that I have learned the game a little better, lots better, I have a lot better time dating and with women, and that makes women's lives better, right? And what I've always said is beta males are the most dangerous person you'll ever encounter. I believe Blaze Taylor's a huge beta male. He's an NFL Titan scout. I believe Daddy got him the job. Daddy's a longtime football coach. I guarantee his daddy got him the job. So, did he definitely do it on his merit? I don't think so. But I mean, this is my opinion. It's kind of convenient that his dad's a college coach and all of a sudden he's got a job as an NFL scout at a professional football team. You tell me. He played football at Arkansas State, which, Division I, maybe college, I don't know. An athlete, But again, goes back to the, alpha bang, beta male, dual mating strategy, beta male provider, alpha bang, beta male provider, the alpha bang, beta bucks. I would say he's alpha bang, and that's what these dating apps did, right? They allowed women, that's where they meet at, they allow women to have these casual relationships with men that are alpha bangs, but they're morally bankrupt. And, hey, women don't, it is what it is. Women want the genes. He's 6 foot, he's in good shape, he's athlete, and that's what their mating strategy is at that point, But let's go ahead and watch this. He's alleged to have given his girlfriend that he didn't want the baby from, gave her a large amount of cocaine, and she passed away from it. And he's on trial for murder. So let's listen to it and let's see what we can learn from the defense counsel's opening statement. And I'll break in and tell you what the learning lessons I believe are.
As we talked about yesterday, this is a very, very serious situation. And so again, I thank you. I thank you for coming back. I thank you for coming yesterday. And I thank you for taking it very serious. And I know that because of the answers you gave us yesterday, this process in our judicial system. I too want to tell you the story of Jade Bennett and Blaze King. But as you can imagine, it's quite different.
So the prosecution already went, and they kind of painted Jade as a very good girl, and went to, but she's gonna have, looks like the, natural, kind of now, modern female lifestyle, which she likes to, she likes to hang out, party. She's, had been involved in drugs a little bit, here and there, but, I just think it's the, but they're gonna try to blow it out of proportion. But let's go.
And you're going to hear over the course of this entire trial a lot of information. And if any of you are like me, it's easier to compartmentalize things so that as you hear the evidence, you can dump them in a bucket. And that way, at the end of the trial, a week or so later, it won't be so difficult to remember what you heard. And so what I want you to do is I want you to think about things before, think about.
And here's the thing, beta male, there's no leadership from him. That's one lesson we can learn. And I just saw a comment from somebody said he should have kept it in his pants. Whatever. But he's getting laid, whatever. But he's apparently had several pregnancies with several different women already. So anybody sitting out there just, shooting, flying, hitting it raw and staying in raw, that is some, especially when if you don't want a kid. I gotta be a little bit judgmental on that. What the hell are you thinking? I'm 50 with no kids. It's, you're, and having lots of sexual partners. There's no flesh or anything like that. There's a lot of guys, probably a lot more than me. But my point is that if you don't want to have a kid, I one time had a scare, and I learned, so I'm not, Mr., holier than thou guy, but at the end of the day, if you're having several, what are you thinking?
The incident and after the incident. Think about things before the incident, and the incident is going to be February 25th of 2023. Before the incident, during the incident, and after the incident. It will help. So let's talk about before. Before, I want you to know who Blaze Taylor was and who Jade Bennett.
Humanize them.
Blaze is the oldest of 2 children. He is the son of Eddie and Trooper Taylor. Blaze has a younger sister, Star Taylor. Blaze's father is a football coach, a college football.
College football coach. How you think he got the pro scout job at Tennessee Titans? He knows somebody.
And I've since learned that living a football coach's life on that level takes you around several places across the country. So they traveled a lot. They lived in a lot of different places because Dad worked in a lot of different places. And Blaze got his education from the University of Arkansas, where he graduated in 3 years with his master's degree in business administration.
Master? I mean, what are we doing at these colleges? 3 years with a master's degree? What? Nah, man. I mean, yeah, okay, I'll give him his flowers. Way to go. But, dude, what is this, ChatGPT? 3 years? Come on. I would say undergrad in 3 years, but a master's too. These colleges trying to, offer you more. We'll give you a undergrad degree and a master's if you pay this amount. The college system, everybody's got a degree. They ain't worth a damn anymore. I got me a degree, but they ain't worth a damn anymore. Everybody's got one. And so the thing is, when everybody's got one, they ain't worth a damn.
He did work. And he ended up, after a few jobs, working for the Tennessee Titans as a pro scout.
After a few jobs? What jobs?
That is where, here in Tennessee, is where he meets Jade.
I guarantee Mommy and Daddy have been taking care of him.
But what's also important
Beta male, they're the most dangerous person you'll ever meet.
is that throughout Blaze's life, even when he played football, even when he was in college, he never drank and he never did any drugs. No alcohol and no drugs ever in his life. I want to now show you who Jade Benning is and was. She was a beautiful young lady.
She was very pretty.
She was an aspiring chef. And she too was from Arkansas. And she moved to Tennessee.
She moved to Tennessee. She's doing her culinary thing. She's out working. She's your single woman. This is the modern system we live in now. A single woman out on her own, making her own money. Blaze is out on his own, single man. So this is how I'm just kind of telling guys how it works. There's a private side.
Graduated from culinary school to become a chef and work at Ernest Hideaway Brewing Bar. But different than Blaze, Jade was involved with alcohol.
And here's the one thing she's involved in alcohol. Yeah, of course. She's gonna be a social girl. She's pretty. But what I don't get is, why is she on a dating app? That's to bang, I guess. I mean, how many dudes are? This is why dating apps kind of ruined us. I mean, how many dudes are around her at work? But they go on the dating apps to search out these alpha bang guys. And then this stuff happens. But anyway, let's go.
And Jade was involved with drugs. And that is where they differ. But what they are alike, as you heard, just as Blaze was casually dating young women, Jade Benning was casually dating young men.
And
so that
have a lot of names. So Blaze is casually dating. Jade is casually dating. Rotations. Okay, guys, how many times I gotta spell it out for you? Women have rotations, men have rotations. They're banging. She's banging several different people. He's banging several different people. This is how it's working these days, especially with dating apps. And I think they're probably the scourge of our society, but whatever.
Or be considered. Now let's talk about Blaze and Jade and their relationship. Blaze and Jade met on Hinge, a dating.
Hinge,
In
yay!
January of 2022. They exchanged a few messages. They never really hooked up. It went into February of 2022 when Blaze reached out to Jade, but yet she never returned the message.
Yeah, because she's got so many. She never returned the message. I've got too many.
She returns a message. Oh, I've been busy.
Yeah, oh, I've been busy. So he's reaching out again.
And then they went dead for a while. They didn't talk again.
No.
Until August.
Oh, he's reaching out again.
In August of 22 is when they actually met up. August the 10th. They met and they had dinner.
So probably she's, she had something going on with some other dudes, a little busy. So finally, was that February? Now they're into August, and now they're finally meeting up for dinner. Come on, beta male move. We don't do dinners.
And after that, they began a relationship. They began casually dating each other.
Casually dating, banging here and there, rotation, situationship.
But they were not exclusive.
Yes.
He wasn't exclusive with her.
Right.
And she wasn't exclusive with
Right.
him.
They both know
You
they're.
would
Yep.
hear that he dated other women.
Yep.
And you would hear that she dated other men.
Correct. And this might be a secret to the old man judge and the old man prosecutors, but ain't no secret to this young lady right here. Women know the game. It's good he has this female lawyer.
Both okay with that because that was the agreement.
That is-
those two adults had come to.
Yes. But we don't like to say it in public.
They agreed that they would have a sexual relationship.
Yes.
But they would still date other people.
Yes, that's what we don't like to often admit in public. Women don't like this face being put out there, but this is what criminal trials will help us do. She's done it before, probably. She's done it before. The prosecutor's a female. She's done it.
Adults, you will hear that that is what they decided to do.
Yes.
You will hear that they probably started having sex somewhere around August.
Oh, yeah, probably near the first date.
Remember, they met August 10th. So
Yeah.
by August 23rd or so,
Yeah.
you will hear that they probably began their sexual relationship.
Okay, second date.
So from August 23rd until November 2nd,
And she's a very pretty girl. This girl on him, like she said, she wasn't talking to him. She had probably lots of different suitors. And you're going to hear she has a lot of different men in her life.
they started dating. They would see each other. They would hang out.
Yeah.
I believe that the restaurant where Jade worked was very close to Blaze's house. And
There
it was
you go.
convenient
There you
because
go.
of their schedules. For Jade to go over to Blaze.
Yeah, that's very good. Yes, that's very good. The convenience, banging. He's close to her work. She comes over after work. Bang, bang, bang. She stays over. He goes to work. She gets the hell out. Right, and it's just all about banging. That's how it should start off. But unfortunately, they bring a kid into it way too early because neither one of them were being, responsible. Both of them are at fault at that. Why is she letting him blast off in her, having this casual relationship with several different dudes? And why is he this too old to be doing that stuff. Too many options of contraception out there, guys.
After she got off work. And she would spend the night there. He would get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
She would sleep late and get up and leave whenever she
Yeah. I've done numerous relationships like that. They're great.
Now you would hear sometime around November 1st
Uh-huh.
of 22. Jay believes that she may be pregnant.
Okay, so she's been having a rotation. She meets this guy Blaze in August. Okay, but she's been having sex unprotected, and that's the thing. Another thing that men need to learn, that this woman is having unprotected sex with numerous men. Women like to talk crap about men having ST. Come on, man. This woman is having unprotected bra. Everybody involved here, put a damn rubber on, dude. But anyway, it would have solved everything here. But now she's going to get pregnant in November, and she's not going to know who the baby's daddy is. She's going to pick him, maybe because he had but she doesn't know for sure. But listen to how the women try to figure it out.
And you will hear that she's having a conversation with Nigeria.
Yeah, her best friend,
And what
Nigel.
they're trying to figure out is who the father is.
Exactly.
And
Why?
you will hear
They're trying to figure out who the father is because he has a rotation.
they weren't sure if it was Blaze's child
Correct.
or if it was some guy named Des' child.
Could be Dez's child or Blaze's child.
Alright, we got a Des.
And so they talked a bit and they talked about who she was having sex with the most.
Uh-huh.
And it appears that Nigeria thought that she was having sex with Des the most.
Uh-huh. Well, and here's a good point. Nigella, her best friend, who's really cool. I'm gonna do a video on her. Super pretty black girl. Super pretty. Beautiful. But she thinks that Jade is having more sex with Des, apparently. Again, this is a teaching moment, right? We're not sitting here trying to get in these people's private business, just to be like, no, we're trying to learn. So, but what I'm trying to teach you is, Women keep their sexual lives private, extremely private, even from their best friends. I've said this before. I had a friend of mine try to tell me this one girl, she was virgin, and how good she was. And I'm like, you just don't know. I was like, it's possible she is. But the one thing women are extremely close about is their private sex life, even with their best friends, their moms, their therapists, or whoever, their daddies. Their sex lives are extremely private. That's why body count is stupid. But anyway, her best friend thinks that she's having sex more with one guy than another because she just doesn't know. Jade keeps her private sex life private, as it should be.
You'll be able to hear that ultimately Jade landed on Blaze.
She just picked Blaze.
Now Jade agreed and said, oh, well, it must be.
Well, it must be Blaze's. We're going to go ahead and assume it is. They have no, this is why this is why testing should be, mandatory in my opinion.
And you'll hear that it is at that time that Jade makes the decision that she's going to tell Blaze that she's pregnant with his child.
Learning lesson. When a woman tells you that she's having your baby, don't just assume it. Get a test done. However, and again, I'm just saying, however you need to protect yourself. Number one, you should already protect yourself with contraception. If you've already, done that dumb maneuver and haven't, get the woman to get tested. Don't just go on what she says, because she's just picking one here.
And so, you kind of you'll be able to deduct that she did tell Blaze around November the 4th. And on November the 4th, it is clear that she tells Blaze, this baby is yours, and not this. And you'll hear that it's true that Blaze, at that time, was not ready to be her father.
Well, and if he had been wrapping that thing up, then he would have been like, nah, man, it ain't I know it ain't mine. He could have been confident. But if you out there shooting off, shots, blowing up the club inside her, then you're going to be like, I guess it is. But she probably blowing up the club with everybody.
With the woman he met less than 90 days ago, who was happily dating other people just like he was.
Correct.
And he did not want to go forward with the pregnancy.
Well, men, you need to be leaders, and you need to be leading a better life than that. And I know I can be holier than thou, and I made my own mistakes, but again, learn from my mistakes too. Is we got to be better leaders. It's our fault. It's his fault he's going through this. You got to be better. He didn't want a baby. He should have planned.
It's clear. He was 27. He wasn't married. He really didn't know her. And clearly he suggested alternative methods. And he suggested it to her because it was something that she had agreed to do with someone else in the past.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, you're going to have no leverage because, again, good, bad, or ugly, right, wrong, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, she's going to be able to choose, and you have no choice. And people are like, well, men should be... Okay, you can have that debate, but at the end of the day, what are the rules right now? At the rules right now of the game, you should not put yourself in this position because you will not have the last say in who has the baby.
But Jade wanted to keep this child.
And that's her
She
prerogative.
wanted to Blaze's baby.
You're playing in a game. You got to know the rules.
And so what you'll hear, though, is that they had a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
And that they were at an impasse.
And you will lose as a man.
And so clearly they had talked about it from November the 4th until November the 6th. Because on November the 6th, you will learn that it was Jade who told Blaze, clearly, there's no agreement that we're going to come to here, and I'm not changing my mind.
Okay.
So what I suggest is you go your way, I go mine. You don't have to be involved with the baby if that's what you want to do. I will go on and I will love this.
Yeah, good luck.
With or without you. My next appointment is on this day. If you want to be there, you can.
He won't.
But if not, this is the decision that I made. You'll hear that that's the decision that Jade made for herself. Now what's important is that after that, what you won't hear is that Blaze was forcing her.
No, he's not going to force her because he doesn't care. That's a little bit of a problem. He doesn't care at all. He is absent. Okay, well, it's fine, but it's a weak position. I believe it's a weak moral character. I believe it's weak integrity. I don't sit there and say you have to be in the baby's life, but you did what you did, man, and you're gonna, But yeah, he's not forcing her to do nothing. He's gonna try to hide, and he's gonna try to shape shift, and he's gonna try to manipulate and hide. He's a scared baby. Yeah, he's a beta male.
Her, continuously calling her or texting her, trying to force her to abort this baby. You won't hear it.
No, you won't hear that. What you will hear is he tries to kill her instead, or he does instead. So big time beta male.
Hear that from the moment she made that decision for herself and told him, you go your way and I'll go mine, that he did not contact her again. You will hear that he honored her wishes. You will hear that he gave her the space that she asked her. But then you'll hear that some time had passed. There would have been enough time to have passed to where she had passed the stage of where abortion would be a viable option.
Yeah.
You'll hear that he told his parents, and he told his parents that he met a young lady by the name of Jay. She was a chef, and he was possibly going to have a child.
Possibly. No, he is. I mean, he
And
is.
what you'll hear is that he then at that time, after making that decision to tell his parents, he contacted Jay on December the 31st. And she responded via text, I'm at work or what have you. And you'll see that on that very same day, she texted Nigella, her best friend, and said, you won't believe this. Because she had a missed call from Lex. And that ultimately,
The loser finally called, probably because he's gonna try to, make sure this don't happen. He's got to hurry up.
on January 1st of 2023, they met up at a park, and Jade's suggestion, she suggested, let's go to a park.
With a beta
And he
male?
honored her wishes again and met her at the park. And it appears that they sat in that park.
Who's running stuff? Let's meet at a park, and they meet at a park, and dude, man, no, tell her, this is what I'm gonna do, this is whatever. When you have the baby, get it tested. If I'm the dad, you're already in the game, get your lawyer and figure it out. You should have already gotten with your lawyer, and this is gonna be my role in the baby's life. You can't stop it. So you need to be protecting yourself. Go get you a lawyer, figure out what the laws are, what am I gonna pay hey baby, this is what I'm gonna be doing. If you don't want the kid, do as little as possible. I'm just saying, play the rule by the games that are in the system now. Don't, but you didn't lead anything. You got, and you're scared, and so he, murders her. Beta male.
$5.
5 hours.
And they had made the decision that they
Beta
were going
male.
to try to get to know each other. So that if the baby was in fact Blaze's, because Blaze asked for a paternity test,
There you go.
which made sense,
Yeah.
that they needed to know each other if they were going to have to co-parent this child. And
No, you don't need to know each other. You don't need to know each other. You need to know the laws and get the laws set up and say, hey, be respectful, be a leader, and say, hey, whatever you decide with your lawyer, whatever you think is best for you, whatever you can legally wrangle, what is best for you, you lead it to, hey, this is what, I propose. This is what my lawyers propose, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm going to do. I don't need to know you. And let's say it is 50-50 custody. Okay, well, I'll pick them up here, blah, blah, blah. You run the program.
from Nigella herself, that it was at this time that Blaze made every effort to do that. To get to know her.
So he can manipulate her.
And so remember this is January 1st. So over the next month and a half, 3 weeks until February 25th, they dated, they saw each other,
And he probably needed some pussy.
they spent time together, and they were getting to know each other. Now you'll hear that Jay did have doctor's appointments, and she did want Blaze to attend.
Yeah, are we getting to know each other? Then you need to be coming to my doctor's appointments, bro.